Welcome to Indie Film Cafe Spotlight. I'm Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with a very special guest, Brinke Stevens. How you doing, Brinke?
I'm great. Hi, everybody.
All right. Brinke's been in a lot of movies, a lot of films, and you can just go to her IMDb and just scroll. What is it? Over 200 by now?
Yeah, it is. I keep forgetting how many exactly, but it might be 250. I'm not sure, but it's definitely over 200.
Wow! Holy cow!
And somebody asked me. They said, "Do you die in every movie?" And so I counted the movies, like how many times I've died, which was 38.
38? Only 38?
Only 38, I know. And then how many movies did I kill people? And that was 58.
58.
So I've killed more people than I've died.
So then what else have you done? Like, because if you're, then are you just like the final girl for a lot of the movies too?
Yep, I survived.
Okay. Because like there's the final girl, there's the victims, and then there's the killer. You know,
right,
those are like basically the three of horror films. You know, or
I've been getting safer roles lately, like playing the mother or something who doesn't die.
Or like a psychiatrist too.
Yes, a judge. I was president of the United States. I've been a police commissioner, and I just love my roles. They're all so intelligent.
Which one were you the president of the United States for?
That was called Silicon Assassin, and it was a webisode, and I was in it with Richard Hatch.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah.
Very cool. You know, that's neat. So that must have been fun. You know,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
You know, basically, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Like, you know, Brinke Stevens for president, 2020. There you go.
Except I was a very bad president, and Richard Hatch was trying to assassinate me.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, there you go. Maybe not then. I don't know. You know, having you there or not. But yeah, so that's awesome. So you started back in like the 1980s. You know, right?
Yes, I believe Slumber Party Massacre was my first big movie role. I had done one short before that. And then Slumber Party came out around 81, 82. And I answered an ad in Dramalog magazine that basically said pretty girls needed to get naked and die horribly. So I did.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it was a good turnout too, like for the people, you know, like everybody from that movie has gone on to do something in the horror industry too, right? You know, other things. So that's amazing. And it was, if I'm correct, it was directed by a woman. Yes,
Amy Jones, who is doing quite well in television right now as a TV film director and writer.
Oh, nice. So, well, there you go. A lot of people go from movies to television, especially these days. Television is a big step. Like you don't just do, like it's not like it was back in the 80s or whatever, where television was different than film, you know, and everything. Have you done a lot of television work?
No. One of the jobs I do now is voiceover work, and I've been working for Netflix. You know how there's closed captions for the deaf?
Right.
They also have descriptions for the blind.
Right.
And I get hired. It was like, he enters the room, there's a gold bedspread, there's a vacuum cleaner in the corner. And I say these things. I work from a script. And the last thing I worked on was Don't F with Cats, which was a very exciting 3-part documentary about catching an international killer. And it was so much fun to work on. I love being in a booth just by myself with a sound engineer and just doing it. It's such a great way to make a living.
You could do it in your PJs.
Yes, and I built a studio in my office at home. And so I do a lot of voiceover work. I just did a radio play called No Sleep Tonight.
Oh.
And I do audiobooks. My newest one is The Spawn of Lilith by Dana Fredsty.
Oh, wow. Very cool. So you're busy.
Yeah.
You know.
I like the audio because I get to play all the characters. I change my voice and I get to be all of them.
What's your favorite voice to do?
I love having arguments with myself when I'm reading a book.
Right.
Like a cat fight. That's the most fun when you've got a good girl and a bad girl and they're arguing back and forth with each other. It's very schizophrenic.
You know, if somebody just walked in on you while you were doing that, that seemed a little weird.
I know.
Somebody would walk in and be like, Brinke, are you okay? Like,
oh, my favorite role, I can tell you, was in Darkness Unbound, I think it was book 3, and I played a very old Italian priest
Right.
who conducts an exorcism. And my friend's brother had been a Catholic altar boy, so I sent him the Latin from the novel, and he recorded it phonetically for me, so I could do this priest voice with the... I'm not going to attempt it now, but that was fun. I actually did an exorcism in Latin.
Oh, wow.
As an old Italian
don't
priest.
do it now. I don't know what that would do. Like, maybe it would get rid of the demon that's inside me. I don't know.
We wouldn't want that, would we? Source of your creativity.
Maybe that is. Maybe that's what's causing all my good writing scripts. You know, like horror scripts. All of a sudden, I write it out because of the demon.
True to life, huh?
Right. That's actually a good idea for a movie.
Yeah.
There you go. You know, it's funny how, like, you're also a writer. You write as well, and so you know. Like, as a writer, you know, sometimes your ideas just come to you or whatever, or they're just based on, like, even just us right now just joking, but, like, literally I could make that into, like, a script, you know, or whatever, you know, and everything because of, like, ideas that just, like, flow. I remember you wrote, so we did on Indie Film Cafe, because this is Film Cafe Spotlight. But for Indie Film Cafe, we do like different segments and different things as well. And one of them is called "What the Fuck Friday," and we did a review of a little horror movie, well, horror comedy that you were a part of, parody basically, called Dr. Horror's Erotic House of Idiots.
Oh, right.
That
yes.
you, I think you helped co-write, if I'm correct.
Yes, that was an episode thing, and I did one of the 3 episodes. Debbie Rochon was in it, playing the Queen of Outer Space. She did a wonderful job.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, everybody was wonderful in that. Like, I mean, it had like a who's who of like, you know, people. I think we were actually saying that because when we had done Indie Film Cafe before, you know, we had each episode on the podcast, right? We were reviewing a lot of films, indie films that we loved. And some of them weren't great, but some of them were fantastic, you know, or whatever. And the ones that weren't great, we still love because you know we love that kind of schlock and fun stuff. But so we were reviewing these, and some of the characters, like I think like you know, Trin Hago was in one, Deborah Shawn was in one, you know. So then when we watch like Dr. Horror's House of Erotic Idiots. Or Erotic House of Idiots.
More or less.
Sorry, I was saying it dyslexically. But yeah, so when we watched that movie, we were just like, oh my god, there's like everybody that we've already, you know, done a movie talking about, you know, some one movie.
That's what I love about the horror industry, is because everybody knows everybody else, and we're like one big family. You know, hopefully everybody gets along and with each other.
Yeah.
I know that there are rivalries, but I love the feeling of being part of the same tribe.
Another one that has a lot of people that you were a part of, and I loved your part in it, was Zombiegeddon.
Right.
You know, we're going to probably be doing that again for a What the Fuck Friday, because that's definitely a What the Fuck kind of movie.
That was an interesting film because he did a lot of the shooting at conventions. And so there's a scene where Tom Savini, who's playing Jesus, and I are in bed, and that was the hotel where the convention was at. And then they found a radio station that was very close by, and we shot some stuff there. And I like it when people are clever and creative and really make use of locations, which is fun because I travel all over the country to do movies. And it's fun to be like in Virginia and see rolling hills and do different things.
Yeah, we were talking about that because you were in my buddy John Johnson's movie Skeleton Key, and and then you were in my buddy Matt Cloud's movie
Beneath the Old Dark House.
Beneath the Old Dark House. So you've been you've been all over the place and everything.
Yes.
And like I said, yeah, it is a thing where it's just everybody kind of knows everybody, you know, and like it's a small big town, you know, in a way. Like everybody kind of knows. Everybody has worked with people, you know, and everything, and it's just wonderful.
People help each other out on movies. Like I do a number of films in Texas, and the people in Dallas help out the people in Austin, and so on. It's just wonderful that there's such cooperation. Yeah,
everybody just wants to work with everybody, you know, and stuff. So I guess, you know, tell us what was probably the most challenging role that you've ever had to do.
Well, it's also my favorite film, and that's Haunting Fear, produced, written, directed by Fred Olen Ray. It's never come out on DVD, so I'm always reluctant to say it's my favorite movie. But Fred handed me the script, and it's a woman whose husband is trying to drive her insane, and he's having an affair with his sexy secretary. And I thought Fred wanted me for the secretary, and he goes, no, I want you for the wife. And that character is in almost every scene in the script. I have a scene with Jan Michael Vincent and Karen Black, Robert Quarry. And it's a gaslight kind of a movie where through the course of the film I get progressively more insane because he keeps playing tricks on me and doing shit to me. So at any point, since we shot it out of order, I had to say, how crazy am I today? And try to remember where I stood on the crazy scale.
That is awesome. Like, I love that. That's just, to me, that's just so cool. Like, especially when, you know, you, as you said, you thought they wanted you for the secretary, and then he wants you for, like, the bigger role. Because, you know, at that point, working with Fred, I'm sure you had you worked with him before? So,
yes.
Yeah, so you built a camaraderie with him, and he could trust you that you'd be perfect for that, you know.
Yeah, I probably did, I'm going to guess 8 movies with Fred. I was in Mob Boss, Warlords, Spirits. And the great thing about the 80s into the 90s, working with Roger Corman, Fred Olen Ray, Dave Dakota, is that I would carry a film. Me, Linnea, Michelle Bauer, we would be the leads.
Right.
And now the budgets have shrunk so much that they might fly me in for one day, and I'll have a cameo, but my name will be above the title.
Right.
And you know, I'm grateful, I'm thankful for the work, but I miss being in the whole movie.
It sucks. It's like, it's a hard time these days because, yeah, like you said, it's and you know, you look at the things like back in the day, people could afford to make you know, maybe $100,000 movie, you know, or whatever, and everything, and the $100,000 back then was a lot of money, you know, and everything. So, you know, nowadays it's still a lot of money. Like, I'm not saying I have that in like my bank account or something, but it's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's harder.
Well, and I was told, whether it's true or not, that Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity, which was 1986, 87, had a budget of $300,000. And yet it was considered ultra low budget. There were people that worked for free on that movie, doing some of the miniatures and things. And, you know, nowadays $300,000 is not ultra low. It's an enormous budget.
I know. Like, people are just so excited if they get $300,000. Because I think, I hate saying this, but I think, like, movies like Paranormal Activity kind of ruin the rest of what people think about the film industry. I'm not knocking Paranormal Activity, great movie, but I'm just saying, like, nowadays $20,000 is like, you know, a standard for the indie films these days.
And with all the Indiegogo and other crowdfunding campaigns, you know, you may not raise very much money, and that's what you've got to work with to make your film.
Exactly. So, I mean, you know, I have friends who made movies for like $500, you know, and that's insane to me. Like, hey, look, if you can do it, more power to you, and if it comes out great, then fantastic, you know. But me personally, I can never do that because it's just, you know, what's the to me, what's the point? You know, it's just like making movies with your friends is great, but you know, and if you get it out there, awesome. But I would rather try to shoot higher, you know, if I can. You know, that's me personally.
Well, it's always a luxury when you can afford it.
Yeah, if you can afford it, for sure. So let's talk about, you've got, we did talk about Slave Girls, we talked about a few other projects, but you've got a sequel being made that you're co-directing.
Oh, yes.
Coming up. Tell us about that.
Full Moon Pictures is doing The Deadly 10. And the 10th movie on the list is a remake of Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama, which I did in 1986 with...
So it's a remake. I thought it was a sequel.
Well, it's not exactly a sequel. I read the script, and if they go with that script, it's almost a scene-for-scene remake.
Oh.
They've brought back Linnea as a grown-up spider character.
Nice.
And Michelle and I died in the first movie, but there's one scene where we appear as ghosts and comment on the goings-on. But You know, it starts out with the sorority hazing. We get paddled. We get whipped cream squirted on us.
Yeah, okay. So
the boys are being voyeurs, except now instead of peeping through the window or the keyhole, they've got a camera in the teddy bear eye, so they can spy on us more electronically, you know, more modern day.
So are you shooting that with David Dakota?
Yes, Dave is my co-director on that, and it was just amazing because Charlie Van called me one night and he said, "Hey Brink, I'm remaking Sorority Babes." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great." And I thought, I died. I can't be hired again. Why is he telling me this? And he said, "You want to direct it?" I'm like, "Yes." Thank you.
But you've directed before too,
I
right?
have. I did. First, I did a short film, 36 minutes, called Personal Demons. And I wrote the script for Joe Castro to be part of Terror Tunes 4, an anthology movie. And he liked the script so much, he said, "I'd like you to direct it to keep your vision intact." And I said, "Well, you know, I wrote the lead role for myself." And he says, "Yeah, you can do it all." So it went the film festival circuit, and it won many, many awards, at least 24 awards. And I went around the country and into Canada presenting it at film festivals. So that got a lot of acclaim. And then I immediately got 3 more directing jobs. There's one I'm supposed to do in Cocoa Beach, Florida, called Tears of a Clown. I also co-wrote the script on it, and my producer said, "Write a part for yourself in there." So I did. And in writing this clown script, I had to rent all these clown movies and just see what's already been done, because it's supposed to be a scary clown comedy, like a parody of It, sort of.
Are you scared of clowns yourself, or no?
No, I'm terrified of spiders.
Spiders?
Yes, and I just got invited to be in a movie called Arachnado or something.
What?
I know.
That's awesome.
And they said, "Hey, you want to be in it?" And I said, "Only if I don't have to have any real spiders on my body." And they're like, "Girl, I'm terrified of spiders."
Yeah.
You're not going to have to work with them.
Most likely all that stuff is CGI,
It will be.
spiders
Yeah,
and
thank
stuff.
goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Because imagine back in the 90s when they made Arachnophobia, I mean, they used real spiders.
Oh, I know.
Could you imagine, like, I'm sure if you went up for that role, you're like, nah, no, never mind.
Yeah,
You know?
I saw the house where they shot it. It's up in, like, the Napa Valley
Right.
in California. And I thought, wow, I hope they got all the spiders out of there before the people move back in.
Maybe, hopefully, you know. I mean, there was a lot of spiders in that movie, apparently.
Yeah.
You know. We did a thing for another podcast called Hard Blood and Coffee, and we talked about arachnophobia. And the thing was, we talked about it, we were like, you know, we had to learn, we did some research on it and everything, and I was just like, holy crap, they use, like, a whole bunch of real spiders. So I would, like, nowadays it would be CGI. If they remade that movie, all spiders would be CGI, because there's no point in hiring somebody to go and do that when they can just pay.
I mean, it's like, can you really train a tarantula? Do they respond to food or whatever?
Yeah,
You know, it takes to train them.
You know, it's just like most movies, like, you know about the Hatchet movies, right? Or whatever, like Adam Green, the Hatchet movies. He did he did a movie called Frozen. I don't know if you ever saw that. But they had, like, real wolves, you know, and stuff in the movie, like trained wolves. And those wolves, if you see the behind the scenes, those, like, they could have literally killed the people right there, you know, or whatever. But, you know, they kept coming toward him, and I was just like, that's insane. Like, I can't imagine, like, having real animals around, like, because just anything could literally happen, because, you know, if that animal just felt like, hey, I'm hungry, you know.
I did a movie called Eyes Are Upon You, and there's an aquarium type terrarium that has white mice in it, and I'm supposed to pick up a white mouse by the tail and do something to it. I forget what I'm supposed to do, and the darn thing came back around and bit me and sunk its teeth into my finger and wouldn't let go. And I'm screaming, trying to shake this frickin' mouse off my finger.
There's a I don't like spiders myself either, so I'm not a big fan. But I'm also not a big fan of snakes. So like Arachnosnake would be like a scary movie. So if Asylum or somebody goes and makes Arachnosnake, I want to be involved.
Yeah.
You know,
Snakes don't bother me. I think they're awfully cute.
until they bite you.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We got a lot of, because we're in LA and we got a lot of rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
I don't like the rattlesnakes.
They're so alien. They're such alien creatures because they like taste. They smell with their tongue.
Right.
And they hear sound and they register temperature. Like they can register your body temperature when you're in the vicinity. And it's just like, how did they evolve like that?
No idea, but I'm gonna stay away from them.
Okay.
You know, like that's, when I go hiking, you know, I like I'm always looking around. And,
Yeah.
And I'll hear things, and the thing I'm like, you know, like, oh, it's a coyote. Okay, that's fine, but not a snake. You know, because those are like they're so small, you just don't know they're coming. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's what's so scary about it.
I was hiking a trail in California, and I heard this weird buzzing noise. And I thought, I wonder what kind of insect that is. That's a really strange noise. And it was coming from this bush. So I standing over there looking at the bush, trying to figure out where this insect is. And I realized it's a rattlesnake under the bush that's wagging his tail at me, like, stay away. And I'm like, whoa, sorry, I'm leaving
sorry,
now.
buddy. Well, I know it's gonna happen someday. I'm gonna see a rattlesnake, and I'm gonna be freaking the hell out. But you know,
I like horror movies because you know it's just special effects.
right?
You know, whether it's CGI or the horror makeup. Like the blood doesn't bother me. The wounds and things don't bother me because you know it's all fake.
Right. When they make it look real, you know, that gets a little scary. Like,
Yeah.
to go back to Hatchet had like the blood's like spraying all over the place, and it's so fake, and you can tell like whatever. But you look at look at some movies, and like it's like looks like real blood, you know, or whatever. And it's kind of scary, you know, when you look at it, because you're like, ugh, I don't want that to happen to me, you know. And I think that's what horror films kind of do to people. It's kind of like make people think like, oh man, I wouldn't want that killer to be out in my woods, you know, or whatever, right?
I played a killer in a movie one time, and there's this couple making love in the bed, and I come in and I'm masked and I have a machete, and I'm supposed to hack him up with the machete. So they had a blood pump, and apparently they tried to pump it and nothing happened, and so they changed it around, put a different hose on it or whatever. And when they hit the blood pump, the blood went all the way up to the ceiling, and it completely coated this white ceiling in this house that they were renting.
Ouch.
And they ended up owing something like $10,000 in cleanup fees. So you do have to be careful where you put that blood.
Yeah. Well, you gotta take care of the places that you're renting, because you know that's some serious extra money that's gonna come out of your budget.
You could make a movie for that.
I know, right? I saw a movie once, or like a behind the scenes documentary of a movie once, and they were shooting in a mansion, and this girl, they were roller skating in the mansion, right, or whatever. Girl accidentally knocks into something, and you know, a thing was falling, you know, or whatever. Thankfully, they caught it, and they caught it or whatever. It didn't like break, but like that thing right there would have cost their whole budget, like millions of dollars, because what that person had. So they decided to nix the roller skating, or whatever, because this.
I shot Beneath the Old Dark House in Virginia for Matt Cloud, and I'm supposed to play a famous horror author. So they found an inn that was built in 1779, and part of the inn was supposed to be my house. They used several rooms in it, like the lobby and things, and the production value was so amazing. I was just really happy that they were gonna take an empty house and get thrift store furniture and all of that, but it just made it look so much better to have a real place like that.
Did you go beneath it? Beneath the old dark house?
No.
But no, that's great. I love that, and especially love hearing like that. You know, when we were talking earlier before we did the podcast, we were talking about different people we met, you know, we know, and similar stuff, and then you know, you saying you worked on that movie with Matt, that just melt my heart, because I've worked with him and I love the dude. So I just love seeing that like everybody's working together and stuff.
I do too. Yeah.
You know. So tell us, what do you guys got coming out soon?
Well, in June this month, I'm shooting The Beast Beneath for Dustin Ferguson. I play a scientist.
Oh, nice.
And I've played scientists for him before. And even though they're different scientists, I said, hey, why don't we use the same name? So, like, I'm always the same scientist in
But
his
it's a different
movies.
character?
It's a different character.
That's cool.
But have the same name in the credits. And then I'm going to Texas in July. I'm doing Strix with Abel Berry in Dallas. And I'm doing Butcher's Bluff for William Instone in Austin. And then at the end of July, early August, I'll be in North Carolina for Slumber Party, Slaughter Party 2.
Okay, nice.
For Dwayne Etheridge.
I heard about that. Yeah, Dwayne and I are friends on Facebook.
Good. We're all Facebook friends.
Yeah. And, and that's great. Like, if y'all kind of get together,
And then in September, I have the Houston Film Festival.
Nice.
I'm going for that.
So Texas seems to be a big place where you're shooting a lot.
I know. There's a hotbed of filmmaking activity.
Yeah.
And then I'm also doing a convention in Denver, Colorado Horror Convention. And in October, I'll be in Iowa for a convention. And I'm hoping to be in Orlando, Florida for Phantasm Con.
Nice. Okay, so I'm not sure, because I've been to a lot of conventions, but I don't think you've been to any of them. And it drives me nuts, because, I mean, I would have probably came up and saw you, but you've never been to Blood at the Beach, right? Okay, you've never been you've probably been to Monster Mania, right? Jeez.
No, they never invited me.
Oh.
I did Chiller Theater a lot.
Chiller, okay.
And they're kind of competitors. But,
you've probably done Days of the Dead, I'm sure.
And, Atlanta Dragon Con, I did dozens of those. All the Fangoria shows in different cities.
You've been all around anyway. And you need to go to Monster Mania. All of them, people like that need to start putting you out there too, because it's a different audience too. It's a different fan base. So I'm sure everybody would love to see you out there.
I did so many shows, I got kind of burned out on it, and I took a break for several years and just focused on movies and script writing. But then the industry changed a little bit, because then the conventions just wanted Walking Dead people.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you were an extra on The Walking Dead, you were a guest at a lot of these shows. So in the short break that I took, a lot of things changed with conventions.
My first convention was Texas Frightmare, so,
That was my first convention.
What?
Well, I did the first one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that was not your first convention.
No, I've been doing conventions since I was in high school in the 70s. Equicon, ApeCon,
nice.
All those wonderful early shows where they were very inexpensive, and you could get major celebrities there that just looked so befuddled, like, what is all this? Right.
I think some of them still do, like some of them that are new to coming here, they look around and they're like, what is going on here? I love conventions. Yeah, Texas was my first one. Then but I'm I'm an original East Coaster, so I would do East Coast conventions. Horror Find, when that was originally there. I think that's no longer around, and then Monster Mania and a couple other ones. I love them. Don't get me wrong. And Scares That Care. If you ever come out, you should come out to that sometime. Okay. Talk to Joe Ripple about that, because we would. I'm sure they would love to have you there.
I have so much fun at conventions, and it's really great to meet your fans and find out what their favorite movies were and what their ideas are. And it's just great to talk to people and say, what do you do? And I just know so many intelligent people that I meet at conventions.
Has anybody brought you anything weird?
Oh, I've signed the usual baseball bat, machete, skull. One person tried to give me a tarantula in a jar.
Why?
Needless to say, that didn't go over very well. Oh no, I couldn't. My cat would eat it. You take it.
Oh, that was your excuse?
Yeah. I didn't have a cat. Not at that time.
That's funny though, because honestly, yeah, I'm not a big fan of spiders either. And if somebody was trying to give me a pet tarantula, I'm all right. I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I have orchids at home, and just even owning a plant is sometimes too much of a responsibility, because I travel so much. Like July, I've got 4 trips in July. I'm hardly home.
This is our plant.
Oh, is it a fake orchid?
Yeah.
That's the kind to have.
Yeah, that's the kind of have because it doesn't die. You can just kind of leave it there.
Well, I hope to see a bunch of you guys at shows this year.
Definitely.
2020's been a tough year, but I'm getting back out there, and I hope that all of you will too.
Yes, thank you guys. And how can people reach you? Do you have like a website?
Yes, my website is www.brink.com, and I'm
just Brink.
Yeah,
that's easy.
And I'm on Facebook. I have a public Facebook page under Brinke Stevens, and several fan groups. There's the Brinke Stevens Appreciation Society.
Wow.
Yes, I feel so appreciated.
That's so cool.
I know.
Do they is it like old fan stuff, like where they send you letters or emails or something?
They find photographs. I have no idea where they find these things. Photographs I don't even have of myself. It's like, where do these come from?
Do they make them themselves?
No,
or?
they just scour the internet. Different sites, that have different pictures, and it's incredible. If I ever need pictures, I know where to go. I go to my fan sites.
You go to your fan sites and say, hey, can you guys give me a picture? And I'm sure somebody will, because they appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys for being out there. We love you.
We love you guys. Enjoy it, and check out Brink's new stuff coming out. So
thank you.
Check it out. Bye.